Hey everyone, today's overview and review video is on Mythic Mischief. So if you're new here, this is 𝒂𝒡𝒐𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏 what that is down in the comments below, like this video, and of course subscribe to the channel. And if you're into board games, we have added members to the channel, and a big thank you to all of the members who have already joined. So Mythic Mischief is quite the game. Quite the game. There is a bunch of mischievous little mythics going around in this library. They had to hire a Tombkeeper to keep these children away from these very powerful tombs. So we did get the Headmaster box. This is the Kickstarter exclusive box, I do believe. So it comes with 3 expansions. It comes with another library board and all of the tokens and the bookshelves to actually play 2 games simultaneously. And it does come with custom game trays as well. So today I have witches and trolls set up so that I can show how this game plays. But let's go ahead and take a look at the table and see what we got going on here. So setup here is just a little bit. So you have to go through the rule book to find the page to actually set the library board up and where all of these shelves are going to go, where all of the clutter is going to go. So that would be in the rule book right here. So there is this setup, and there are 2 more over here. And then a few things on the board here are the tombs of each color. And we also have these designated spots, 1, 2, and 3. That is going to be on this card right here. This is before lunch. So there's 2 phases in the game, before lunch and after lunch. After lunch is basically the exact same thing, except the tokens here are going to be different on different places on the board, and the Tombkeeper is basically going to each of these spots. And it's because the Tombkeeper's keeping an eye on the library, making sure that all of the books are here. So anyway, so this is set up between the before lunch card and what's in the rule book here. You'll have everything set up. The Tombkeeper always goes into the center of the board. So along with placing a tomb of each color in the designated spot, which you can see here on the card. I will put that right here so it's easier to zoom into. You can see the cubes, and you can clearly see the 1, 2, and 3 tokens on where they're supposed to go onto the board. Now this is needed because if so happens that your mythic got caught by the Tombkeeper, your mini comes off, and at the beginning of your next turn, you can place your mini or your mythic back out onto the board. The only places that you are allowed to place your mythics back on are these spots right here, the circle spots on the card for before lunch, and the after lunch card will have some similar to this too. The only real difference between the before and after lunch is the amount of moves that the Tombkeeper is going to move. Before lunch, the Tombkeeper can move 4 spots on the board, and after lunch, the Tombkeeper can only move 3. So that's the setup for this and where you can find it. Other than these tombs right here, you're going to be placing them on the score track too. So how the game ends is if a player reaches all the way to the 10-point mark on the track, or at the end of after lunch, whoever is highest up on the track, that is the player who has won. So let's go to player setup because there is also a player setup. So obviously you get to pick and choose which character you want. This one, like I said, I have witches and trolls. So you have your miniatures that you're going to be able to place out onto the board at the beginning before anybody even gets to have a turn. And that would look something like this. And then for your actual player boards, everything, all your moves, all of your different abilities are all on your player boards. And how you know how many moves you have or all your different abilities, how much you have, is all on these dice. So the dice have the numbers on them, but there are also numbers at the top so that you know what number actually goes there. So these dice are all in the starting locations, and you can tell what the starting locations are because they have a dot in each of them. Now, after you decide who the first player is, the second player actually gets to start with a tomb. Now these, once you collect them off of the board, you can actually use them to upgrade your abilities on your player boards. So basically that is just giving you more moves and extras for your other abilities. And every player gets to add a tomb here for their special ability. Each of these abilities are going to be different from everybody. You have ones that you can use all the time, and then you also have the after lunch special, and these are also different depending on whatever character that you're playing. So everybody gets a move action. So once you have your player boards all set up, you have your mythics all onto the board, then you can start playing your turn from the first player. So every character has 2 of the exact same abilities, and that is moving around on the board, and also every player has a distract. Now a distract is basically luring the Tombkeeper towards you, the shortest route to you, the one route that makes sense to you. So in a case that you would want to use that is if your opponent is near the Tombkeeper and you want to move the Tombkeeper towards you, because it would see your opponent, and when the Tombkeeper sees your opponent, goes into the same space as your opponent or even yourself, then that mythic has been caught and comes off of the board. So that might be one of the reasons why you would want to distract the Tombkeeper, is to get your opponent off of the board. And you would want to do that because that is how you're going to collect points in this game. Every time that the Tombkeeper sees your opponent by going into its space, you're going to collect victory points by that. Now, if the Tombkeeper sees you on your turn, that is a negative point, and you don't want that. So those are the 2 of the same abilities for each player, and every other player is going to get 1 special ability and 1 after lunch ability, but then you also have 2 different abilities that are going to be similar. So one of the abilities is moving your opponent, and the other ability is moving the bookshelves. So they are still the same for each player, but the way that they are able to do those are special to their characters. Like the trolls can bust through the bookshelves, completely destroying them off of the board, off of the library board. And then the witches, the way that they can move through them, or the way that they're able to move them, is moving them from one witch to a different witch. And then the other one, which is moving your opponent around the board. So witches are able to move an opponent if they either are diagonal to them or if they are in front of them. They're able to move them 1 space. So say that they are here diagonal, you could either move them this way or that way. Unfortunately, you can't do it through the bookshelves. So the only option that they would have for this witch is to move the opponent that way. So the trolls, for their ability to move an opponent, is to drag them. So let's say that the troll was here, the witch is here, and the troll decided to move over here. He can move the witch into the last spot that it was in, that it moved out of. So that's one way that it can drag. So those are basically the 4 abilities that you're able to do. I can talk about these special abilities here. So for here, this one for the witches. So for the witches, remodel, that means rearrange 1 bookshelf and 1 clutter anywhere on the board. So you would basically take this off and you would remove it whenever you use it. And you can move, rearrange any 1 clutter and 1 library, or any 1 bookshelf. That could be rearranged anywhere on the board. It can help you out whichever way that you want to. And then for trolls, we have launch. So this one, when you use it, you would remove it. You can move 1 neighboring ally or enemy as far as you want in any one direction. So basically by using that one, I have the troll here, the witch is here. I can move that one, the witch, as far as I can possibly by using that. Then we have after lunch specials. So the witch after lunch special is called Bewitch. So this one, it says once per turn, you can drop the Bewitch under any witch. Anyone under this space cannot be moved off of it by an opponent. The Tombkeeper always breaks these rules. And then for the trolls, we have staging. So this one, once per turn, you can place a troll bookshelf anywhere you want in the library, and trolls can freely pass through this, but nobody else can. So those are all the abilities that are on the cards. Now to actually use them and the strategy wise for this game and how to win. So basically the structure is the first player is going to fully do all of their actions that they're able to do and that they want to do. After the first player's turn, the Tombkeeper is going to move up to 4 spaces. Now, one thing on the board when you're moving, these clutter spots will cost 2 movements because they're just a pile of books and you have to climb over top of it. So those will take 2 spots. So if the Tombkeeper or witches or the trolls ever need to move into one of these spots, it's going to cost 2 movements for them. So then when the Tombkeeper goes, it would be the next player's turn to complete all of their actions fully. So let's just go over a couple of ways that you can do your turn. So let's just start with the witches here because I did make the trolls the second player. So basically moving. The Tombkeeper is going to move and we don't really want to be in the Tombkeeper's way, so we want to move out of the way. And also to upgrade, to get more tombs, to upgrade our abilities here on our player board, our abilities on our player board is by moving into a space with the tombs in it. So as soon as you go into it, you don't even have to stop in that spot. If you're moving, if you're here, you can move 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. As long as you went into the spot, you get to collect it. You can just place it at the top of your board until we get to the end of your turn, and that's the cleanup phase, which I will go over after I give examples of all of the moves and the abilities. So that would be moving. We technically did all of our moves, so you would want to move all of your dice down. So that indicates that you have already used them and you can't move anymore. Now let's just say for strategy wise, we know that the Tombkeeper is going to go over here. That is the Tombkeeper's goal and that's what they're going to go to. So they're going to go to 1. Once 1 is done, 1 comes off and then they're going to make their way to 2. And then once they get to 2, they'll make their way to 3. And then we would set up for after lunch, which I can get to after I explain how to do your moves in your turn. So we know that the Tombkeeper is going up here to 1. I want to get some points, so I'm going to try to get the trolls seen by the Tombkeeper. So now I think I'm going to use my enchant here, which I'm going to use this witch to move that troll right there in that spot. I don't think it's going to work out for me because I need to have a troll close by so that I could take a bookshelf and move it next to a witch. I was hoping had I stayed here, I could have blocked that off so that it would have to go this way and see that troll and I would get 1 point. But unfortunately, I can't do that, but that would be a way to distract or get a different way for the Tombkeeper to move. So that would then manifest if I could move one of the bookshelves to another spot. I did do this too, so the track just needs to come down. I don't have any distract, and I don't think I'm going to move my bookshelf because there is no point since I already moved. Now, once my turn is done, once my Mythic's turn is done, that phase is done. Now the Tombkeeper is going to move. I know right away that is going to go to the number 1 here. I wasn't able to block the Tombkeeper out. So it will go 1, 2, 3, 4 and get here, and that'll be done. Now it's going to try to move its way to the 2 location here. Now let's say that we had a clutter right here. So the Tombkeeper can only move up to its 4 moves, and if it can't complete it, then it just doesn't do it. So it would go 1, 2, and then 3, 4. It would stay on there. It wouldn't actually go to 1 because it can only move 4 spots. And then I did want to touch on this because my witch moved the troll into this spot. It doesn't get to collect the tomb right away. It only collects it at the beginning of its turn. And then another scenario that I wanted to touch on is, let's say that the Tombkeeper started here. It needs to go to 1. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It has to complete its move action, and once it gets to the 1 location, then it's going to move towards the 2 location. So that's basically how the turns work. So after the Tombkeeper's phase, then we're going to go up to the cleanup phase. So cleanup phase is we're basically going to slide all of the dice that were used over. So this one, if I did use it, would slide over, but since I haven't used it, it's going to stay there. It basically keeps it if you haven't used it. Then we get to add a tomb. Any tombs that we have collected throughout our turn, we get to use them as an upgrade. You can upgrade any one of these, and it's basically taking it and putting it on the leftmost spot and then moving the die over. So then once you do that, we get to boost as an action. So boosting is moving one die 2 spots or moving 2 dice 1 spot. So if you wanted to do this, it's just basically boosting you and giving you more actions to do during your turn. So maybe I wanted to be able to move an opponent over a little bit more. I could boost that die up if I wanted to, or if I wanted to maybe move a little bit more, I can boost 2 dice once and move them there. So once you've boosted and you've added all your tombs, then you get to reset your dice. Now, because they're in new spots here, you want to make sure that you're picking the right number that's on the die. So that would be a 2 and a 3 for that one. This one here is a 1. This one never moved. It's still a 1. Now we can distract the Tombkeeper because we have upgraded it. So once that's done, now it is the other player's turn, and they basically do the exact same thing. You go through all of your moves. For the trolls, you can drag, or you can smash through the bookshelves, and then you can also distract for this one because it is upgraded. So basically that's it. Now let's say that the Tombkeeper has gotten to the last location here. It comes off. Any tombs that were left on the board get taken off, and you basically miss out on them. So that's something that you would want to collect to be able to have more moves and more actions during your turn. So once that happens, then you're going to flip over after lunch, and this is basically when you're going to place out the new tombs. And this one you only get 3. So this one would be the one that comes off. So you would rearrange everything how it is. You're not moving off any of your mythics, and the Tombkeeper is not moving either. So then you would replace these ones out. This one is a 2, and the 3 would be right here, and number 1 would be right there. So basically the Tombkeeper's turn now is just to visit 1, 2, and 3 all over again, all while collecting the points. You want your opponent to be seen by the Tombkeeper. So if you make it to the end of after lunch, then whichever player has the most points up on the track is the player who has won. Or if you didn't even get to after lunch, or you're still in before lunch, or you're in after lunch, whenever that time may be that you have reached 10 victory points on the track, then you are the winner. It doesn't even matter if you finish the game. So learning this game was pretty easy. It's not a terrible hard game to understand. The rule book went through a lot of the stuff. So I did go over through the rule book in preparation for this video. So there are lots of pictures, which I love, and it definitely goes through everything that you need to know how to play the game. It goes in through different ways to actually play too. So you can play this game solo, and it does have that in there, a little cheat sheet at the back. So because we got the Headmaster, we got the extra expansions. So there are 3 of them. Now, something that I do like with the expansions that we got is that they have these pamphlets to their own. So that's kind of why I chose the witches and I chose the trolls, are because they are expansions and they came with their own pamphlet. Now the other games, or the other factions that you can play, are just here at the end of the booklet. So I find this not as easy to have like the pamphlets, and I like to have the pamphlets because it goes through a lot more of the actions on what you can do during your turn, right? All of the abilities for all the different factions. So I do like that, but the rule book is really nice, different colors, everything goes through everything really, really well. I picked up on it pretty quick. So learning the game, pretty easy because of the rule book, definitely explains everything. Now, the thing that is a little bit more difficult with the game is actually playing it. All of the actions are pretty simple, but it's to do well. And like, while I was doing the witch's turn, as you noticed, I did move, and I should have not moved so that I could have moved a bookshelf and blocked it off and actually gain a point during my turn, because the Tombkeeper would have seen one of the troll characters and I would have gained a victory point for that. So this game is playing it very thinky, because it's not just you have two things that you can do. You could either move or you can move a bookshelf. It's not like there's only two things that you can do in the game. You have all of these things that you're able to do, and you can do all of them during your turn, which is nice because you have the ability to play the game however you want. However, there are a lot of options. So I think that AP in this game is high because, like most games that you play, I find anyway, the very last turn, you're trying to maximize the points that you get because it's your last turn. And I feel like this game, every turn is like your last turn in any game because you want to do it right. You want to do well. You want to get all of the points. So you're really trying to think, okay, I can move there. I'm going to move the bookshelf over here. I'm going to move my opponent right there. And then you're thinking all of this in your head. You go, well, dang, that's not actually going to work. Okay, so maybe I'll move that character here. I find myself with this game backtracking a lot. This is just one of those games that's just so thinky. You want to do so well in it. And AP, I would say major AP in this game. I'm trying to do better. I have beat Nick every single time that we have played this game. I do really well at these games, but then again, it's because it's thinking and in my head, I'm going through all the scenarios and, okay, that one's not going to work, so what else will work? This will work better, okay. So, AP. AP in this game, major. But it's really fun to play the game, but it's very strategy heavy. This isn't a light game, but it's not necessarily a heavy game either. Like, this is a pretty medium game, but really easy to learn, really technically easy to play because you have four things that you can do, 5 if you upgrade it. So there's not too many things going on. It's just you really want to do well. So thinking about it, acting it out, doing it properly. And it's really cute to look at. I love all of the different, I want to talk about everything. I have a set thing that I want to talk about, but I want to talk about components, I want to talk about artwork, and I want to talk about theme, basically all at once because they all tie in with this game because the characters are cute. It's a good looking game and the artwork on the player boards are beautiful. Like, it all ties in together. And then theme, because of the minis, because of the artwork, I think the theme is there, especially with the backstory. The Tombkeeper is there because the books are so powerful for all of these mythics, and they are trying to steal these books, and you don't want them to because it's too powerful for them. It is in a setting of a library. I think for me, the theme is really there, but the artwork and the components really help with that. When we first got this game, it showed up in the mail. Nick wasn't home. I opened it up right away. I didn't really have any idea on what type of game it is when I got it. Nick told me that he backed it. I was like, cool. Never really looked at it until I got it, and I was like, oh my gosh. I even like the box art too. Like, it's pretty simple. It's just really beige, but it's got the look of what's going on, right? Like all of the characters, and then this big character here is the Tombkeeper. So even the box art for me is really good. I love all of the characters. I think this would be the perfect game to get your minis painted because all of the player boards have all of the characters on them. And I don't know, I just really like this game. The theme is there for me. The artwork is fantastic. All the different colors. I will say, touching on components, we did get the Witches expansion, which was the free expansion for the Kickstarter. We got the glow-in-the-dark ghosts. They're red. They are not glow-in-the-dark. They are glow-in-the-dark, but they're not glow-in-the-dark. I did take a picture, one with night mode on, one with night mode off, which is basically what my eyes saw without the night mode on. I will post those 2 pictures right here. Obviously the one that's glowing a little bit more is the night mode turned on. And then this one here, which is weird saying in the camera because it's not actually there while I'm recording. But anyways, this one here, that is what my eyes saw. It is very faint. That was out in the sun for hours and it didn't really glow. Now, how much can I complain about a free expansion? Not too much, but they do not glow. And the vampires should have been red and the ghosts should have been blue. I'm sticking with that because I feel like that definitely. But overall, I really like the game. Maybe because I'm good at it too, that I have beat Nick every single time that we've played. Maybe it has to do with the artwork because it's just so adorable and so cute. Maybe because it's the theme, because it's mischievous mythics. I have no idea, but I really enjoy this game. I'm really happy that Nick backed it, really happy that we got it when we got it. I wish it came in earlier, but that's all right. But I don't know. I have nothing bad to say either, like just the ghosts, and that's it. I really enjoy this game. There's a lot of strategy, and I need to get better at it because analysis paralysis is not my friend. Not my friend in this game at all. But I'm trying to get better, and it is getting better too. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. Anybody who hasn't checked it out needs to check it out. I think that this version of the game is really, really worth it. I'm very happy that we got it. However, gameplay is there for me. So whether you get Headmaster or not, gameplay is still really good, so I don't think it matters which one that you get. If you're a fan of the channel and we have similar taste in games, I really think that you're going to like this game, so definitely give it a try. Me and Nick are very happy with it. So anyways, that is my overview and review of Mythic Mischief, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time.